Welsh are now getting on top from Punchestown and racing up towards the line is Big Bucks, who's going to win it. Big Bucks wins from Punchestown and racing up towards the line. Imperial Commander is going to see off Voipuru Stades. Imperial Commander wins the Ryanair.
The Paddy Power for Ireland and Eddie O'Grady, their first win for 29 years.
Over hurdles and fences, and now a Grade 1 winner on his UK debut.
History being made at Cheltenham. The first horse to regain the Gold Cup. Quarto Star canters home from his second place. Denman, a great effort.
Right, on to the Friday, I think, now for the three big races on the last day. We are warned that it could rain on the last day. That could change the ground. That could change a few bets. But let's start with the Triumph Hurdle. Tom, everyone's been saying this year, all the trainers have been saying that it's a poor year for juvenile hurdlers. You've been riding in all these juveniles. Has any horse really stood out to you?
Not really, not in England anyway. They all seem pretty much for muchness, but at the same time, a lot of these flat horses have been running on a lot softer ground than they've been used to. And the ground is going to make a massive difference. Say all winter, everybody knows what the weather's been like, and they've been, these flat horses have been used to running on much quicker ground, and suddenly their first experiences of hurdles have been running around ploughed fields. So it's going to be very different for them in the Triumph, and I think it's ripe for an upset.
Paul, the Irish have the top two in the market for the Triumph in Alavan and Carlito Briganti. How would you compare them?
I can't see Alavan handling the ground. He was very free in Leopardstown, and he jumped bad, and Carlito Briganti walloped him. I remember speaking to David Watchman at the Newmarket Sales, and I said, if you hadn't worked looking at David, and he said, no, not really. He said, there's one horse there, he has a bit of scope to him, but he said he gives nothing off the bridle. He wants ground like the road. No, maybe you don't want him. And he was bought for 18 grand, and he's the second favourite now. And to me, in this, the horse I'd be most impressed with is Advisor. And I think it's a big thing that Carol just said to me that Ruby has opted to ride him. And I think that would be the one that I'd like to be on as Advisor of Paul Nicholls.
Mick, the Henderson yard thought they didn't have a Triumph horse at all. And I think Nicky's been encouraged to run one simply because he thinks they're a bad bunch.
I don't think there's any doubt about it. He's got a horse in here called Soldatino, which they bought from France. He won a minor race in the French provinces. This fella, he's got his own little quirks. He has to run with earplugs in. He's quite a fractious horse, and it's not ideal if you go to Cheltenham and you got a horse with earplugs in. But he is talented. He was a very easy winner of I'd be the first to say it was a below par Adonis hurdle at Kempton, but he could do no more than win as easily as he did. Nicky likes him, doesn't really know how good he is or how good he can be. Barry Geraghty, who's quite a good judge, he was impressed by this horse. He said, I know he beat nothing, but I love the way in which he did it.
OK, we'll move on from there to the 3-mile novice hurdle, what's now known as the Albert Bartlett. And this has a favourite in Telmasini that would, of course, have been ridden by Sam Thomas, but for his schooling accident last week. Paddy Brennan has now picked up the ride on that. Second favourite generally has been Restless Harry, trained in Stratford-on-Avon by Robin Dickin, who's never had a Cheltenham winner in 40 years of trying as jockey and trainer. But there are one or two Irish horses as well here, and one in particular, Shinrock Paddy, trained by Mr. Nolan. Paul, what do you say?
Yeah, this fella's in great form. There's no point in saying that I would be worried about the ground. Most of his better form is on real soft ground. That's why we opted for the 3-mile race, that he might just travel a little bit better within himself. But he's a decent type of horse, and just touch wood, he'll run very well.
Mick, I know you're very keen on Telmasini, aren't you?
Yeah, this is my nap for the meeting. It's a horse that I really like. He's got proven form around Cheltenham. He's tough. He stays well. Good solid jumper as well. Not really a lot of negatives about this fella. And interesting what everybody's saying about the weather. I looked at the forecast before I came out this evening, and the Met Office says there's going to be heavy rain in Cheltenham on Thursday night. If that's the case, it could alter everybody's perception of what the ground's going to be on the last day especially. And if it is soft, I think it makes Telmasini a good thing.
Moving on to the highlight of the entire meeting, of course. A Gold Cup, the third time Kauto Star and Denman have met each other. Kauto Star's fourth successive Gold Cup. And Carl, to me, that in itself is an amazing achievement, isn't it, for Paul Nicholls to get these horses here year after year?
Yeah, I mean, people don't realise how many things can go wrong with horses day to day. And if you remember, as time goes on, you forget about the amount of horses that fall by the wayside during the season, and even in the last few weeks, the amount of horses that have not been able to make it to Cheltenham. The Gold Cup, Kauto Star, he's that price for a reason. He probably is the best horse, and I'm sure will win. Denman, for me, I don't think people keep on about the two-horse race and the scarves and all that bull. But on Denman's run at Newbury, I cannot have him. He was beat when AP finally came off him, but AP looked between his legs off the bend and seen Nice Market there and gave him a squeeze, and the Denman of old should have been 10 clear by the fourth last, and he was struggling to stay in front.
Everyone then wants to know about the health and prospects of Imperial Commander.
As you all know, Imperial Commander at Haydock early on the season gave Kauto a bit of a fright. Paul Nicholls said that Kauto wasn't straight, but I can assure you that Imperial Commander wasn't either. He comes back from Ireland very late. Most of our horses are galloping away by the time he gets back, and he comes back quite fat. So he would improve a lot from that run as well. I think he's the only realistic challenger to Kauto.
Kauto Star was unbelievable in the King George. I was riding Madison to Burley, and I was absolutely flat to the boards. Behind Nakarat, Barbershop came past me going reasonably well, and then suddenly Kauto Star's head appeared, and it looked like he just jumped in. He was just hacking, and he absolutely bolted up. He's a tremendous champion, and I think everybody else is playing for second place. I've got a great respect for Imperial Commander. I think he'll finish second. Again, I agree with the boys. I think Denman was beaten last time when him and Tony parted company. And also, I was with a talk with Sammy the other night, and he said, in his opinion, ever since Denman had his heart scare, he's not been the same horse in the fact that he's been showing a few quirks. Obviously, he put in a pretty disappointing performance before being second in the Gold Cup last year. So, Paul has got him back in the past, but it's getting harder and harder to keep bringing him back. And I agree with the boys. I think Kauto Star will win it again. And I think Imperial Commander will chase him home.
Denman's not getting too many votes here, Mick. Do you dare to differ or not?
Well, I actually think that he wasn't beat when he got rid of AP at Newbury. I think the mistake that he made when he turned into the straight completely knocked the horse's confidence, and then AP's looking to get him back running again because he'd lost all his momentum and several lengths with his mistake at that obstacle. But if you go back to the Hennessy that he won with Ruby, there was several horses, Niche Market being one of them, who were again right on his ass when they jumped the fourth last. He then picked up and went away, and I think that he could still have won the Aeon chase. Paul has said all along, he even said it, he's been very frank in his column on a Saturday in the Racing Post, and he said that on the morning that he thought Denman would improve significantly for the run in the Aeon. It was only a trial, it wasn't the be-all and end-all, and I think it's important to know that. Paul has said all along that he thinks the horse has improved, but Kauto Star doesn't need to improve. All he has to do is turn up and be like he's been all along. The year that Denman beat him, I rode Neptune Calange in the race, and we went a good gallop, and Denman went on and took it up off me with a circuit to go. But Kauto Star wouldn't have won at any stage in that race that year. He was very flat. Paul Nicholls has said himself he learned from the mistake of running him at Ascot, knocking the freshness out of him. He turned him into a horse who just looked pedestrian in that Gold Cup. I think the real Kauto Star turned up in last year's race and he won hands down. And again, he achieved his best ever postmark when he won the King George this year. How can a horse look to be improving at the age he's at now? I think it's testament to his trainer that he's managed to get him there for so many years consecutively, and to be the force that he is. He's a machine.
I think we're unanimous on the panel. The Gold Cup will be won by Kauto Star. It will be his third Gold Cup in 4 years. He'll join the greats, best mate, Arkle, and who knows, he may go on and win a fourth one, but we'll find out on Friday whether he wins a third.